Hello, and glad to see you on our channel. Today we give you the hot news from the Times magazine. This one of Prince Harry's most painful snubs, and it was the greatest wake-up call ever for him. According to a report in the Times today, Harry asked for a poppy wreath to be laid on his behalf at the cenotaph in Whitehall during the annual Remembrance Sunday ceremony. His request was refused, and the Queen was reportedly not even told about his request. Courtiers wouldn't keep her in the dark without the risk of serious repercussions. So if that isn't a signal that she's washed her hands of his double standards, I don't know what is. He's said to be very upset at the decision and was supposedly hoping he would soon be able to resume some of his military activities. These hopes have just suffered a serious setback. Just what kind of military responsibilities was he hoping to resume? Any that didn't clash with his wife's schedule, perhaps? Another opportunity to beg for a job, maybe. Harry, you made your bed, now lie in it. Sounds like Harry is half-heartedly attempting to feign allegiance to Britain. He's not very clever, poor boy. I'm happy they didn't bother Her Royal Highness with this lame attempt at being a thoughtful grandson and royal. Her Majesty may be 94, but she's got more acumen to spot flim-flam a mile away. God bless the Queen. Harry willingly gave up his military duties for Meghan when he decided to stop being a working royal. I just think he wants to hang on to his military duties when Meghan pushing for him to do so because Markle doesn't want to be stripped of her title. So it's a very sneaky way of trying to hold on to something they are no longer entitled to in any shape or form. So sorry, Harry, you don't want to be a royal, so don't try to intrude on royal occasions. You gave up this privilege when you walked away. Does it hurt? I'm sure it does, but you knew and accepted the consequences. Just another way for you and Meghan to try and outshine the true royals. The Queen, Camilla, and Catherine, along with Prince Charles and Prince William, attended to their duties on Remembrance Day. You were not included. But out, where you no longer are wanted or included. Spend the day remembering what you have given up, what you are no longer included in. The refusal of your wreath, that should tell the story. Now go lick your wounds. As the Queen stated, in or out, you chose out. Live with it. I really doubt that the courtiers did not know if the Queen would be happy or would be about the Harry request for a wreath. They all know Her Majesty and how she would react. No one would go against her express wishes, so if she has let it be known, Harry is out of the family, so he would suffer the consequences. He and his mad missus tried interfering with the U.S. elections. They spoke out when they know political statements are a big no-no. The Queen has her ways with her staff. She knows a lot more about Harry and Meghan's shenanigans than we will ever find out. I noticed that Prince Charles hasn't even intervened on Harry's behalf. He has the Queen's and his own wreath to lay. As for William offering to lay one for Harry, I think hell will freeze over first, given what they have said about his beautiful wife and kids. Back off, Harry. You are not wanted. Royal courtiers refused Prince Harry's request to lay Remembrance Sunday wreath on his behalf. Was this one of his most painful snubs? Goodness me, yes, indeed. This would have to be the greatest wake-up call ever for Prince Harry. Not being part of the Commonwealth Day official procession came as an insult to the ever-pampered Prince of Hearts, but Meghan assured him that was more evidence of how threatened the toxic family was of her popularity. During that event, Prince Harry was merely cautioned that his recent contact was not met with British favor. I feel that the book Finding Freedom was the final straw that broke the camel's back, and all the public speeches, including swipes at the British Commonwealth for centuries-old rampaging, pillaging, and conquering by the old-world British Empire, may have been seen as distasteful and hypocritical, stirring up of old wounds, when uttered from the lips of the one who still wallows in the spoils. This would be of particular embarrassment now, with many countries whose forefathers laid down their lives to defend Britain and are now becoming increasingly more independent thinking. As only time will tell, but I do suspect Her Majesty is about to show the world just how strong she can be and exercise her duty and loyalty to her nation above any emotional family ties. Plus, he's so dim that he needs repeatedly getting snubbed to get that it really sinks in. He's not a working member of the royal family. Get it, Harry? You're done. This snub must have hit really hard, though, because he always claimed that the military was a huge part of his life. If you watch the Remembrance Sunday ceremony, you'll see that it features a big input from the Commonwealth and overseas territories. Who wants two whiners there who've spent 10 months slagging the whole concept of the Commonwealth off? I watched it. It was very sincere and emotional service. Kate looked so regal and in tune with the meaning behind the ceremony. Puts Meghan to shame when I think about her pitiful appearance at previous ceremonies, where she seemed to be oblivious to anything but that camera lens, but didn't bank on how pretentious she presented herself when the pictures exposed her true agenda. Meghan! I personally believe Harry is a person at risk. He has stepped away from the family who sheltered him because of his youth when he lost his mother. But unfortunately, he stepped into the den of a dangerous being. Diana was a nurturing person, and Prince Harry probably thought that most women were like this, as prior girlfriends appear to have been quite decent people. The constant snubs and lack of purpose are situations Prince Harry will have to find a way of either overcoming or dealing with, if he is to avoid a most serious emotional collapse. Another royal expert also said, I am sure he will wallow in a pity party of his own doing, given how he seems not to take responsibility for his actions by blaming someone or drumming up an excuse after excuse. Harry attended the Lion King premiere to kiss up to the Disney CEO at Meghan's encouraging instead of attending the Royal Marines memorial service. That's one strike. Harry stepped back from being a working royal. He turned his back to that life without blinking of an eye. That's two strikes. Harry knew he would have to give up his honorary military titles when he stepped back. Again, he did so free of his own will. I say this simply because he could have stayed. It was his and only his decision to turn his back on his fellow active and veteran military brothers and sisters. That's three strikes. Harry has disavowed the entirety of Queen and Country. Sorry, but I feel that Harry's request to have a wreath laid in his stead was utterly shameless. His conduct these past months can and should be classified as conduct unbecoming of an officer. The way he has spewed total disrespect towards not only the great people of the UK and Commonwealth, his family as a whole, but also the military in which he served and above all, his queen. That's four strikes. With that, Harry is out, a non-player, sidelined, inconsequential, irrelevant. It's Remembrance Day, and I hope Harry sits and thinks about what all he has done to so many in such a short time. That he takes time to remember all he has thrown into the wind and has watched flutter to the ground. To be trod on as if he were a piece of trash, discarded by someone who doesn't care to do the right thing. To remember just what he gave up for so little in return. He had his wife and child. He had the world at his fingertips. Harry let go. I seriously doubt that he tried to talk to those who could have helped with his royal life as a husband and father. He listened to the one person controlling the marionette strings. To remember when his life had meaning. Not this wandering, grabbing at straws, and hopefully he finds the trail of breadcrumbs back to where his life once flourished. A royal fan from the US also said, I also think it's just a photo op because here in the USA, we celebrate Memorial Day in May. That's generally the time when flags, flowers are placed on veterans' graves and their memories are honored. We also have Veterans Day coming up in November 11th, but Remembrance Sunday sounds closest to our Memorial Day. So it appears that Harry and Meghan are completely reacting to the wreath refusal by taking photographers to an American cemetery for a non-American holiday and make this day about them, continuing to demonstrate how tone-deaf they really are. Does Harry even know how many things he had in his life were due to being royalty? How about you? What do you think of royal courtiers refusing Prince Harry's request to lay a Remembrance Sunday wreath on his behalf? Please let us know in the comment section below and discuss them together. And as always, come back to our channel for all the latest news on the royal family, Meghan and Harry right here. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Goodbye.